Thank you for tuning in to the Okinawa Karate Podcast. I am Josh Simmers, coming to you from Cary, North Carolina, and I am at the home of Mr. Adam Cave. Today we got a tour of his wood shop. I got a tour to look at some of his weapons, and now we're going to sit down and do the official interviewing portion of it.
Awesome.
Where we find out about his background, how he got into making weapons, martial arts training, etc. And then, of course, let you all know where you can buy his weapons, where you can come test them out and try them for yourself. Adam,
hey,
thank you very much for inviting me into your home.
Thank you for coming,
Last
Josh.
Friday, inviting me to your dojo
I know.
to train, and now into your home to look at the weapons.
Well, I think it's very. It was awesome meeting you in Okinawa last year on my first trip there. So that was kind of nice the way that's all kind of coming together.
I guess we should pave that, right?
Yeah.
So we met. Was it last?
It was a year ago in the fall.
A year ago in the fall.
October 2018.
Okay. There was a RyuTe Seminar at the Asato Dojo.
Yes.
Hanshi Lindquist.
Yes.
And at that time, Kyoshi Polander, now Hanshi Polander, I believe.
I believe he just did, yeah.
We're conducting a seminar, and James Pankovich pinged me.
That's right.
And said, hey, you should probably come down here and train with these guys, because I'm Okinawa Kempo, same lineage, Nakamura. And then we got chatting at the dojo bar and found out,
we had the Cary, North Carolina connection.
Yep.
I know. So
you work here or live here in Cary, and I'm back here for work at the same time. So anyway, that's how we know each other.
That's awesome.
And you might hear a little chatter in the background once now. There's two cats in the house that are very curious. They like to check everything out, and right now they're checking out the tripod.
Yeah, I know. We're going to see how long this lasts. This could be interesting.
It'll be all right.
Anyway. Yeah, it was fun to show you the shop, get an idea what I've been doing out there. It's summertime, so it was nice to actually not be working out there and take a break and show you stuff, because it's a sweaty time of year to be working in an unair-conditioned shop. So. But, other times of the year it's very pleasant, so it just kind of depends.
So take us through your origin with wood making, your interest in the arts.
Yeah. So I come from a family of artists. My father is a painter, Joseph Cave, a well-known landscape painter who lives here in North Carolina. He met my mother in art school. She's never pursued art professionally, but she's an artist. Her mother was an artist. My grandfather was a filmmaker, a film producer in Hollywood. So a lot of art in the family.
Wow.
So it was very natural for me to be interested in art and be encouraged in that direction. So both my sister and I have a younger sister. We both pursued it up through college and such. And I found my way into the world of art galleries shortly after college. And so I kind of moved away from making art. I wasn't feeling impassioned about it, let's say, making fine art. But I enjoyed the environment. I enjoyed being around all these creative people. And so that continued. But the other thing my father did the entire time I was growing up, because as anyone who knows, artists knows, art doesn't pay bills sometimes. Sometimes you've got to do other things. Yep. He refused to get a day job, and so he would build houses, and he would do cabinet work, and he is a very talented woodworker. So I kind of grew up around the shop. It wasn't so much that I had direct hands-on education, but it just was always there. Yeah. And I think more than anything, it just made me fearless about trying. So, initially it was, I'll build a piece of furniture, or I'll remodel our kitchen, or I'll do this, and these things just kept happening. And each time, your skill set gets better, and you buy another tool that you need, and now you got more tools, and all these kinds of things start to happen. So all of that was kind of happening on the side. Again, I still really wasn't making anything I would call art. And then I guess now it's about 6-7 years ago, maybe, I was training with some guys, and this guy pulled out his Joe, and it had some lamination or something going on. I thought, man, that's a neat looking Joe, and I should make myself one of those. I could do that. Mm-hmm. How hard can it be? So I made a Joe, and it was all right, and I would show up at places, and I'd use it, and people would ask about it. So a friend would say, hey, can you make me one? So now I make another one. And then, one thing sort of led to another. And, now I find myself making things and being creative again. So it's kind of come full circle, which is great. And it's all related to martial arts, which has been with me since college.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
So you made that was the Joe that you made at first, but now you're making nunchaku, you're making tunfa, you're making bow, Joe, everything.
Everything. There's a few weapons I still feel like if it's long and straight, I'm making it. So you've got your bow and Joe or tombo, shorter weapons, and nunchaku. Chizikumbo. I've done handles for kama, but the blade work had to be done by others. I've done some tumfa. I feel like I haven't really come up with my tumfa design yet.
Okay.
So it was fun, but it was an incredibly time-consuming project. So there's some weapons I feel like they're still sort of, I don't want to say I really make those. I can make them, but I feel like I haven't found my method, and the signature that's going to be either the way I put it together, the technically how I make it, because everybody's got their own kind of thing.
The one theme that we see often with your weapons, though, is the lamination.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let's talk about what are the benefits to that.
Okay.
And is there any disadvantages to that in the weapon?
So I don't know of any disadvantages other than the possibility that this probably makes the weapon stiffer and a little less flexible. So if you want a weapon that's got a lot of flex in it, you're going to get less of that. Now, most of the woods I'm working with have limited flex to begin with, but this probably even decreases that.
Okay.
Generally speaking, if you talk to anyone who works with wood, they will tell you the very strongest place on this piece of wood is the glue. The glue is stronger than the wood grain. Good professional wood glue, done, glued properly, dried properly, all those kinds of things. It's very, very strong. So there's no weakness inherent in a laminated weapon.
Okay.
The ability to, I find there's a lot of advantages. It's gorgeous. I really like how pretty it is. It's kind of dramatic. When I'm working with weapons and when I'm training with weapons, one of the things that's indicative of the way we work with the weapon is there's usually a lot of rotation.
Yeah.
And these lines now show you that happening. Yeah. So you can sort of mark a spot and then you can see how you're turning. Oh, I need to be over rotating. I'm under rotating. These kinds of things. So there's that. In the longer weapons, I think it's easier to straighten them. To get weapons that won't warp. And they're not going to snap because you don't have a piece of wood grain that goes all the way through the weapon. Yep. You've got multiple, 3 to 5 different types of grain, none that join up. So these are generally advantages from my perspective.
Very good.
And I've even made weapons with the same wood, but just took 2 pieces and laminated. So no fancy colors, but I just felt like it was better to just make it a laminated weapon.
Stronger.
There's another advantage as a woodworker, which is that I have access to a great deal more acceptable wood, because to get a solid piece of wood that's big enough and whatever, now, that's harder to find. Yeah. But if I might find a piece that's got a little crack over here, but I don't need that much. I only need half because I'm going to take another half from something else. And so it gives me a lot of flexibility and the ability to be creative and try different things.
Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah.
Interesting. How does someone find you?
Well, the name of my shop is Kobudo Woodcraft.
All one word. If they're searching on social media platforms.
Now, I don't currently have a website. That's something I'm working on. But my primary place you can find it is on Etsy.
Okay.
So if you go on the online marketplace Etsy, ETSY, and look up Kobudo Woodcraft, all one word, you will find anything that's available there. Okay. Or be able to contact me through conversation portals that are on that site. So that's generally it. I do have a Facebook page that is sort of currently for the weapons and for the small karate school dojo that I have in Raleigh, and that's another way to find me too. Okay. But Kobudo Woodcraft.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll get that there.
Yeah.
What's a ballpark figure for like, let's say, a very common weapon, a 6-foot bow.
Okay.
Right.
So most of the bow I'm making are ranging between about 135 and 155.
Okay.
That's pretty standard. Every now and then something comes in a little lower just because of materials or costs were different or whatever. I feel like most of what you're paying for when you buy my weapons is the time.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas I've seen some sellers who have different markups depending on the woods they're using, that's rare for me. Even though some woods will cost 25, 50%, sometimes even 100% more than another wood, I rarely use that. There's rarely a price difference in two equivalent weapons, simply because of the cost of wood, unless there's something really dramatic.
Okay.
Most of the time, you're paying mostly for the labor.
Okay.
And these are fairly labor intensive to make because they're all handmade and sometimes hand carved, and there's just a lot of love.
Yeah. Oh, they're beautiful. They are beautiful.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
It's interesting because I've shipped weapons from Okinawa to the States.
Yeah.
Buying from Shirado, and now I have a feeling that I'm in the process. I'm going to have one shipped back. So. Sorry, honey.
That's right. I'm sorry.
That's what happened.
He just said it live on podcast.
I did. Yeah. There's no doubt something's coming home with me. So
that's too funny.
Yeah. And you do ship around the U.S. We've talked about
everywhere
internationally, so people can contact you. That's fantastic because that is a lot of times that's the hardest thing to deal with is shipping.
Well, that's one of the reasons I gravitated originally towards Etsy, because Etsy actually does all that calculation and then just builds it into the price, and it's all taken care of. And I just know, I know I don't have to figure it out, which is a great time saver. Because otherwise you're taking boxes to the post office and waiting in line and weighing things and trying to figure out, and everybody's different. Every place you ship, the price is going to change a little bit.
That's good. Let's talk about your other martial arts training. That's how we met originally, right? Was at a seminar in Okinawa, and then of course drinking a beer at the dojo bar. But we both come from a similar lineage.
Yes, we do.
So let's just talk about that.
Okay. So I started martial arts in college. I got sort of excited about what some friends were doing. They were white belts, and they became yellow belts. I got excited. And this was it was a very traditional form of Taekwondo called Jido-Kwan. One of my good friends, Bill Tooman, up in Massachusetts, still teaches to this day and has a thriving school of Jido-Kwan. So it's fun to have friends who you've been doing martial arts with close to 30 years. Even though you've gone kind of different directions. So shout out to Bill. Then I moved to New Mexico, and while I was in New Mexico, still doing another form of Taekwondo, my sensei there got interested in adding weapons training to and we started looking around, and we found Bruce Heilman, who was one of Seiichi Odo's students, and he was offering weapons to schools that weren't doing karate. So we started doing Odo Sensei's weapons, and I did that for many years and loved it, loved the training, competed and stuff, and did all kinds of stuff with that. And then I guess in the late 90s, I was introduced to students of Sayo Oyata. And here in South Carolina, the late Jim Logue, who sadly passed some years back, and his good friend Gary Scholl. And so they and students of theirs kind of took me under their wing, and we were all here in the South, and I became a student of Oyata's and trained with him for close to 15 years, I guess, or more, until he passed, and continued to train and teach in his art, now under Greg Lindquist.
Yeah, and Andre Lindquist is based out of Kansas City?
Yeah.
Kansas City.
He's not in Kansas City. He's in Merriman, Kansas. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, middle of the country.
All right.
Yes.
Very good. Very good.
So yeah, and so what's fascinating is, of course, Odo and Oyata were dojo mates under Nakamura. Yep. And so that's kind of where our connection is, because that's
and now since I'm in Okinawa, living and training under Kina Toshimitsu and Kian Toro, so still there.
Still Nakamura. Okinawan Kempo. Yeah.
Yep.
So and of course Odo and Oyata didn't do the same weapons that Odo did.
Right.
His forms are different, his style and movement is different, but very exciting. And both, I think, have a nice sense of understanding of the weapon. I tell my students all the time, particularly they're holding a bow, I'm like, if you can use this as a scalpel, now you're working with a weapon.
Yeah.
You can take this big stick, quit swinging it around like a club, and start doing surgery with it.
Sledgehammer's easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and both of these guys, I think understood that, and that was sort of the direction they were pushing their students. And so it's a lifelong pursuit for sure.
It's difficult, but it's fun.
Yeah.
But that's the sledgehammer works the easy part. But when you get down to the scalpel, that's where it's amazing when you can see somebody. I'm very, very far away from that, but I've seen people that are that way, and it's awe-inspiring. Yeah, it really is.
It is.
Okay. Cool. Well, hey, again, thank you for inviting me into your home and into your shop. I think that's really awesome, and I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to train with you and interview you.
This is a lot of fun.
We'll do some more. I'll be in town for a little bit.
Yeah, and I hope to be back in Okinawa at some point.
Absolutely.
Hopefully it won't be too long, and we'll pick this up.
You
again.
know it.
Yeah,
definitely. And then we'll head over to the dojo bar for another beer.
I will.
Awesome. Right. Adam, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in to the Okinawa Karate Podcast. As always, I am Josh Simmers, coming to you from Cary, North Carolina.